welcome to episode 50 of the Dropship Podcast. I am super, super excited to be here. I didn't know if we'd get here, John. You and I literally thought this up on my old podcast, the BK Show. Just while I had you on as a guest. In the middle of it, I bought the domain dropshippodcast.com, and it originally started as a Patreon, and here we are doing free shows and a Patreon, and we're on episode 50. That's amazing to everyone who's watching this, whether you're on YouTube or you're listening to this. Thank you. Holy shit. Thank you. 50. Dude, most podcasts get to like episode 8 and they quit. And I can see why. If I showed you a graph of our listens, it's like, it took a long time to snowball, and now it's going crazy. I'm so glad we're here. I'm thankful for everyone that I'm not looking at currently, who's listening to this, whose earballs were in, who's watching my, ugly mug on YouTube. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's so awesome. And thank you very much from me. I was actually looking at some of those listens on like our first few weeks of launching the show, and it was like 10 people or something like that. It's always a slow start, as most things are online. Anytime you start something new, it's a slow start. But if you stick it out, man, it can pick up some momentum. It's exciting. I'm excited, and we have so much fun doing this. It's so special that so many people listen in regularly, and have spent some of their time with us. I can't believe it.
I wish maybe we can on this platform. We're still learning this platform. If you're watching this on video, we're still learning this platform. I'd love to share a screen so they can actually see. No one's listening, right? We've said this before in your dropshipping store. No one's going to come right away. A lot of people want to keep their store password protected because someone might show up. No one's coming. And even when you run ads, it takes a little bit for Google to give you respect and start. So, we're a perfect example of having to push through it. I didn't know whether this would work or not. I thought people wanted to hear my dulcet tones, but I didn't know if they wanted to hear John's or both of us together. Certainly, we had some interest from people in the industry, but we had no idea this was going to blow up like that. 40,000 listens today. We crossed it today as we're recording this in less than a year. That's amazing. We're averaging 500 people in the first 7 days. Looks like that John is showing. There you go.
There you go.
So that's over time as it grows. You can see there's not much going on back there.
Yeah. So it started pretty slow for what's that, like a couple of months, maybe more, maybe in 3 months. And then it just starts growing. And you see that in so many ways. I mean, if you're on YouTube, when you're doing SEO for an e-commerce business, sales for an e-commerce business, often you have that, that little bit where you're trying to gain momentum, and then sometimes all of a sudden it just goes. And when it goes, it goes. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. But thank you. So we want to shout out a couple things on here while we're talking. So I went to Apple Podcasts to read a few reviews. There's a few people who chose some names I'm not going to read on here. So thank you for the review, but I'm not going to read your review because you chose a funny name. But Mark Zero, if you're looking to start a high-ticket dropshipping business, look no further. Great content and relevant information. This is up-to-date information, unlike some other shows that have some very dated content. Highly recommend. So thank you, Mark, for that. Jay Mayo says, best advice in these podcasts than I've ever received in courses I've paid thousands for. Very grateful for this content. Thank you, guys. And John, I think you had a few people reach out who said they've literally just listened to the podcast and built businesses, which is amazing.
Yeah. I don't know that that's exactly what I thought people would do when we started doing this. But yeah, particularly in the last sort of month or so, there's been a few guys here and there who've been posting in a Facebook group or sending in messages or something like that. And they're like, I listened to your podcast and started a business based off what you guys were talking about. Yeah, which is amazing. Once again, super cool.
Yeah, and just one more because this one makes us look good, John. I'll read this one. John and Ben are the two you want to listen to if you're wanting to start a dropship store or already have one and want to grow. The amount of value they pack into each episode is incredible. I also joined Dropship Breakthrough, and it's proven to be well worth the investment. Thank you, Dropshipper Dylan, for that review. A bunch of new reviews came in. I know we put it was only like a month ago I wrote or I recorded a piece to put in front of the episode saying, hey, we're just crossed 24,000 listens, but we only have 24 reviews. And here we are a month later with 40,000 listens. And the snowball is real. So just, I don't know, from the bottom of my heart, everyone who's listening to this, whether you're on the treadmill right now or you're lifting weights or you're driving in your car or you're, cleaning your kitchen or whatever you're doing, thank you. Thank you for taking the time with John and I. You're the reason we exist. And I can't thank you enough personally.
Absolutely.
100. I wanted to 100. I wanted to point out a couple things that I thought were cool that I saw this week on this episode. And so if you are in our Dropship Tribe Facebook group, if you're not, why not? Why are you not in there? Go to Facebook and search the Dropship Tribe, and you can come join us. But I posted in there a post that I'm struggling to get back to right now, of course. But it was about a couple gentlemen who started their dropshipping journey a few years back. I actually worked with one of their brother-in-laws in that big company that I exited. And so they saw me working with them. They hired me as a consultant, and I helped consult with them too. Had a very cool business, and it is now listed for sale for, I believe it was 4.7. I'm trying to get back to the post here, but $4.7 million. And I wanted to point out that dropshipping is very much not dead. I think you can definitely find some people, gurus on the internet telling you that dropshipping is dead. It is very much not dead. Maybe the AliExpress version is dead, but it is definitely not dead. I really wanted to share that because these are two people I admire a lot. They're two of the hardest workers I've ever met, two brothers that just, they go crush it. And I'm super, super excited for them to sell their business for, $4+ million.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's just, I think a couple of weeks ago, I saw this post on Facebook from this guy who thinks he's a bit of a brokerage influencer type dude. And he's always posting on Facebook and stuff is where I see him anyway, about all his tips for selling a business. And one of his things is 10 myths about selling an e-commerce business, blah, blah, blah. And one of those was that dropship businesses are worth anything. So he was basically saying they're not worth anything. Nobody wants to buy dropshipping businesses. Well, F you, buddy. 4.7 million. That's worth something. Yeah, you always get these little talking heads all over the internet banging on about dropshipping. And honestly, anytime I see somebody doing that, the answer is you don't know what you're talking about. You've never done it, which is always true. It's always true. They just don't have a brain. So dropshipping is definitely not dead. Wasn't dead last year. It's not dead this year. Won't be dead next year. Wasn't dead 10 years ago when people were doing it. It's just such a nonsense little one-liner that you hear repeated over and over again, usually by people who have some ulterior motive. Dropshipping's dead, but hey, buy my course about how to brand your own product, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Yeah.
I think this one's interesting to me because I think there's very few that we've talked to that have crossed that 8-figure mark. Certainly I was part of a business that did that. John's been helping a business that did that. I know a few other people have done that. I think there's some people listening to this who have done that as well. And these guys did too. So just looking at their listing on Quiet Light, it's listing number 118-59505 if you're interested in checking it out, or just, again, look in the Dropship Tribe for my post about this. But they did $11 million in revenue in the trailing 12 months. They made $1 million profit on that $11 million revenue, and they're selling at a 4.75x multiple. So they're asking $4,750,000 plus inventory, which I think they, at this point now, stock a couple brands where we've talked about on this show. If you buy more, that's going to pay dividends down the road. You're going to get better margins, have a little more control. And so, very cool story. I just wanted to share that. I'm super happy for both of those guys, and hopefully they get what they're asking for. I'm sure it's probably a little bit tougher market now than it was a year ago when money was sloshing around everywhere, but I'm excited for them. I really am. And both two awesome dudes who deserve this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, John, the only other thing I wanted to bring up on this thing was let's talk about, here's where we think we're going. So first off, if you're listening to this and you have some ideas of topics we haven't covered or things that you'd like us to dive deeper on in these shorter Tactical Tuesday episodes, let us know. Hop in the Dropship Tribe. Let us know. We'll happily create more episodes for you. But things that are coming soon, if you haven't already, you can see John and myself, our ugly mugs on YouTube. We are now putting these podcasts on YouTube. We have a company who is cutting up some of our YouTube videos and these podcasts to help us with Instagram Reels and TikToks and YouTube Shorts. And some more YouTube videos coming as well. John and I have done a bunch of those already as well. And so that's coming soon. What else, John? What else has been in our crazy brains that we'd like to bring forward to the universe here moving forward?
Well, definitely something that's been in my brain. And actually, once again, I've had people asking about a bit more frequently in the last couple of weeks is what can we do to get people together physically? Through Dropship Breakthrough, our program. I think there's a lot of calling for that at the moment. People are, I wouldn't say post-COVID, but restrictions are gone. People can travel around again more than they have been able to in the last couple of years. And so I think there's a real hunger for people to start getting out and meeting other people who are going through this crazy, fantastic journey as well. And so providing some opportunities, it's been in my mind literally for like 2 years to want to get that sort of thing happening. So I think we're working towards that. So that's definitely something that's going to be coming up probably at this stage, probably open to people who are in our Dropship Breakthrough program, of course. But I think there's going to be some real opportunities to do some fun stuff in that space soon-ish. And I think another thing we've been talking a lot about, Benny, is Benny. Ooh, I let that one slip. Head shake. I'm getting a head shake if you're not watching the video.
It's down to you and my sister. That's it. You're the only ones that keep saying it. So
it's because I have another friend called Ben, who I call Benny, and that everyone calls him Benny. So when I'm talking to you, it's just a slip, mate. You know, I love you.
It's all good.
Yeah. We've been talking about some sort of mastermind type deal. I don't know if that coincides with that live event type thing or if it's a different thing, but that's something we've been talking a lot about. Once again, in our high-ticket dropshipping space and that sort of thing, or maybe including a couple of other things, who knows. But, I think that's something we're moving towards slowly.
Yeah, I think it's powerful to meet people in person, right? You and I have talked on this show when you and I met. That brought us much closer together than us talking on the internet, right? And I think there's a lot of people listening to this who are in our program, and they get some perks of being in our program, right? They get some office hours calls and some coaching calls and stuff, part of our elite package. But Zoom's great. Don't get me wrong, Zoom's great. Riverside is great. We're chatting here on the internet right now, but we're not, right? Like, there's days I'd love to give John a hug or slap him. Who knows? Depends what kind of mood I'm in. But I'd love to be in the same room as John, and that's only happened once in our lives. And so I would imagine other people are feeling that too. Like they'd like to get around other people. And I'm not a big believer in this sum of the 5 people, blah 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 thing. But getting around people who share interests with you and share passions with you can help put you on a new trajectory. And so can you get away from the crabs in the pot at home and go find some other people who are striving to be better? Great. If we can facilitate that, even better. And so you're right, John. We've talked about masterminds, we've talked about live events, and more so, I'd love some feedback from anyone listening to this. John's in Australia, obviously, and I'm in America. Would it be, easier to do in Australia, in America, somewhere else completely? I'm open to a lot of ideas. Certainly, I would love it if we did it right here in Minneapolis, where I don't have to go very far. But the Australian folks, who I'm sure there's a lot of killers in Australia, some who have been on this podcast, then maybe they don't want to fly as far either. So I'd love some feedback there. But it's definitely something we've been tossing around. Just it's been so powerful in my life, getting into mastermind groups, meeting people in person, doing local meetups, things like that. And so I'm excited to do that moving forward. At some point, we have to figure this out.
Yep. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to put in the show notes for this episode, and maybe some episodes going forward, a link to a page where you can go and leave us some feedback. So if you've got topics you want us to cover, if you've got feedback about doing live events or anything like that, just click on the link. I don't know what it's called while we're recording this because I'm thinking of this on the fly. It'll be something simple. Ben will put it in the show notes. So if you're listening to this on a podcast or on YouTube, just click that link. It'll take you to a page. There'll be a little form. Just put what's in your head in there that you'd love to see us do. In anything really, or any feedback you have about the show, anything you think we're missing, we'll feed it into our process.
I think there's programs out there where people can leave essentially a voicemail, right? Like I know me, I wouldn't want to type out all my thoughts. So maybe we can solve a way to just get them to push a button and talk to us. I'm sure that'll lead to some trolling, which, John and I need a good laugh anyway. So if you have something,
I love the trolls. If you're a troll out there, troll away, man.
Yeah.
Troll away. It's always fun.
And then one more thing, we get asked often, is payment plan something you guys would like to do or that you have done? John, I know before you and I came together, you tried this, and let's be honest, not everyone in the world follows through on what they say they're going to do. And, I think that led to some chargebacks and things like that. It led to some people, just kind of flaking, which is unfortunate. And so I think we moved away from payment plans, and I think we've been asked enough. Maybe we should bring them back as a special 50th episode bonus. What do you think? Yeah.
So, we get asked for it. And it's it's something we've been thinking about for a little while. We tested it out a little bit with a few people here or there. So, yeah, as a 50th episode thing that we're doing, because ultimately we'd love to help as many of you that are listening to this podcast regularly that aren't already running a business. We want to get you running one of these businesses. We want to get you over that hurdle, off your seat and into the game, because that's taking action and doing things is the only way you're going to make a difference, going to change up your life, whatever, get more control of your time, make more money, whatever it is that's going on inside your head that you'd love to achieve. And so what we're going to do is we're bringing in a payment plan, or bringing back a payment plan for the Dropship Breakthrough, the full program with all the bells and whistles attached. There's going to be a link, once again, with this show where you can go and access that. And as a special bonus to that, for our 50th episode listeners, we're going to chuck in a free trial as well on the front of that payment plan. So you can get into Dropship Breakthrough for a limited time. This is going to be strictly limited. So literally get in real quick. You can test out the program for free before your payment plan even starts. And Ben's looking at me on the video.
Do you see my face, folks?
I just dropped that one in there. Oh, yeah.
We had a plan here, John, where we were going to offer a bonus, and John he said, no, I'm going to do something even bigger. So I'm not even going to mention the bonus that John and I talked about, because you're not going to get better than a free trial with a payment plan on the back of that. So I believe you're going to get the course, you're going to get the elite package, you're going to get everything included at a price that is much more palatable, spread over 12 months probably. So I'll put a link in the show notes. John, I'm going to say it's dropshipbreakthrough.com/payment plan. And how many of these you want to give away? How many you want to do before we shut the door here? Because this is an offer that has me standing a little funny here on video. So
I love it. It's so good. That's going to be open to for the first 7 days after this episode drops. You got 7 days to claim your free trial. As many people who pile in on that as possible. 7 days. That's going to close, and there'll just be the standard payment plan available.
If you're watching this video, you can see my face right now that I am not lying, that John just made all of this stuff up. That is amazing. If you've been listening to this,
what else can I throw in to make... What else can I throw into blow Ben's? He's going redder. Look at him. Well, let's blow this up a bit further.
You were not supposed to do this. So,
and the first 20 people who get in get an hour of Ben's time only. No, I'm just kidding.
Not doing that. Maybe a couple. Maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll surprise a couple. That'd be great. But this is a no-brainer. If you've been listening to this and you've been thinking, I need to get in there, I need to learn, this is a no-brainer. John literally made this a no-brainer, and he's the king of making offers thanks to some books, probably. What do you think? Was it the Hormozi book? What do you think made you so good at making offers like this?
$100 Million by Alex Hormozi is a great book to read. I think you can get it for free still, or like on Kindle or something like that, or Amazon, or maybe it's $1 or something ridiculous. Great book to read. If you're running any sort of business, you should read that book. Not that necessarily there's a lot of the stuff in that book is just actually old marketing stuff that he's picked up from some of like the big dudes of old direct response marketing and stuff like that. But he's put it in a modern format and kind of obviously added his own stuff in there, which is great. I got a lot of it, previously, once again, just from reading old marketing books, like stuff like, old books like Breakthrough Advertising and stuff like that. How to make offers. It's kind of like, if you can learn how to make an offer, you can sell anything, right? That's really at the heart of business. That's knowing how to sell something to someone else. Once you can once you learn that, you realize that it doesn't matter what you're selling. It's always the same. The same framework sits behind it, right? So selling a physical product, selling an information product, doing it online, doing it offline. It's all about the offer. And if you can master that sort of thing, maybe we'll talk about that sometime in an episode, hey? Sure. If you can master making offers, then you can apply that to anything. at all.
But this offer's nuts. I would just put it out there. If you've been thinking about this, you should jump all over this, because I'm telling you right now, and I'm looking at the camera, we're not doing this one again. So thank you, John, for putting that out there. This is a no-brainer. 7 days after we put this out, we're going to put it out on Tuesday, which is the 12th. Hop on in. Let's see how many people we can get in there. Get your first month free, and then we'll start the 12-month payment plan after that. We'd love to see you inside. We'd love to see you in the elite program. No-brainer offer. I will put the link in the show notes. I believe it'll just be dropshipbreakthrough.com/payment plan or something like that. But look in the show notes of the podcast you're listening to. Look in the show notes of the video you're watching. However you're consuming this, you'll find the link. I hope to see a ton of you inside, and please let us know that this, obviously if you take this offer, we'll know you came from this podcast, but let us know, and let's see if we can do something special for all of you guys, because that's pretty cool.